Watch them, ding dong, watch them, ravers, watch them, Jordan. Is it? I know every.
We do know that the coronavirus does particularly enter the body through the nose or the mouth, going to the upper respiratory tract and ultimately into the lungs. Most people who are affected will have some type of inflammatory response, and typically you'll see fevers. That's the most common sign. And later on, depends on your immune system and depending on what's going on with you, whether you have medical problems or you're elderly, you may have secondary findings such as shortness of breath, and that is primarily related to the amount of fluid that's produced in the lung. Now, you do have what you call white blood cells, and the main purpose of white blood cells are to fight infections, fight viruses, and fight bacteria. Oftentimes, there's an overwhelming response, and that's typically what we see in these coronavirus COVID-19 patients. There's an overwhelming response. The body produces a lot of chemicals, which causes severe inflammation in the lung and the difficulty breathing. So in short, you're basically drowning in your own secretions. And it's not necessarily the virus, it's just a response from your body to the virus. So what can you do? Now, there are different medications, there's different therapies. I don't think anyone have the right answer for it. They're working on vaccines, but so far nothing is 100% effective. We know that there's some benefit from some patients with anti-malarial medicines and drugs, and we have tried it and we have seen some improvement in some of these patients. But I also like to talk about some of the other avenues in which we can boost our immune system, especially as people of West Indian origin. You know, we grew up eating certain foods and vegetables and fruits, and just some knowledge, some basic knowledge can help improve your overall immune system and probably reduce the chance that you'll get some of these infections. We don't know for sure, and by no means am I trying to replace your primary care doctor or the advice from the government, but this is just common sense information that most of you already know. So let's talk about something that's very important to me. I've seen in the past several weeks that, you know, family, friends have been very stressed. It's a very high stress state and high anxiety state. And of course, that's very reasonable under the circumstances. People are dying daily all over the world from this virus, and it seems that there's no end in sight. So I've coined this term. I call it CIA, Corona-Induced Anxiety. And believe me, sometimes I think I have it. Oftentimes I cough, I sneeze, I believe, oh my gosh, I have the coronavirus, and I'm freaking out, and my heart rate increases, I'm constantly stressed. You know, people are going through this all over the world. They believe they have the virus, number one, or secondly, they're confined to their homes. There's not enough activities. There's no end in sight. People have this overwhelming sense of doom, like what is going on, like we're losing control. And most of you are touched in one way or another, whether directly or indirectly. It's hard to find a person that's not affected by it. I remember a couple weeks ago, I knew no one. Now I have family members, I have friends, I have people intubated on ventilators fighting for their life right now. I have doctors, lawyers. This disease basically no boundaries. Rich, poor, white, black, Indian, Chinese, whatever it is, this can affect you. So protection and prevention is key. You know, stay home. If you don't have to go out, stay home. That's the most important prevention. And this thing about mask, me personally, I wear mask everywhere I go, sometimes two. You know, we're on the front line. We have to take care of patients with COVID-19. We just have to be suited up, gowned up, be smart, cover your ears, your eyes, wherever you go. I see people walking around in the supermarkets all over the place, not enough protective gear. Believe me, it does not make sense. Whether or not these things work, why not be safe? Common sense measures will save your life. So my recommendation is wear a mask all the time, wear it properly, because you never know when you may come in contact with somebody. And this disease is particularly virulent because the latency period is different. In some diseases, you'll get sick right away. With the coronavirus, there are many patients who are active carriers, and we have 5-6 days with no symptoms. And some patients are symptomless, but they can be asymptomatic carriers, meaning they can pass it to somebody else without even knowing. So you can actually go home, infect your entire family, and not even know it. So that is the problem with this. And